Live from KTTC, the area's most watched evening news. This is NewsCenter at 6.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us here tonight. Well, construction finished up this past summer in Cannon Falls to keep traffic flowing through the town while making travel safer for motorists.
And as a result, it's harder now for people to access businesses along the line in highway along the way. There at NewsCenter's Jonathan Kegas talked to a few to see how this change has impacted them. John?
Tom and Robin, the answer to that question is a complicated one, as some aren't being affected at all while others are seeing drastic changes. The city of Cannon Falls is trying to help. Since last summer, traffic has been flowing freely through Cannon Falls, leaving some local businesses in the dust.
I hear everything negative on that end. Food chains, they have a pretty big decline. One of the major exits to get over to those food chains was just that very first intersection there. People saying there's about a 70 to 75% decline in their businesses.
Adam Banks manages rhinos, archery, fishing, and hunting and says he hears the new traffic patterns are a nuisance, but he's not seeing the decline in business similar to other destination businesses in Cannon Falls.
It does get confusing for our customers to get over to us just as far as the roundabouts, but we do hear when they say they get the hang of it, it's pretty simple.
The city has been in pursuit of a project that would reestablish access to Highway 52 without using the interchange. At Tuesday night's city council meeting, studies by an engineering firm were presented with safety being the #1 concern.
You've got a lot of turbulence. You've got people merging onto the highway, trying to pick up speed. You'd have people merging off the highway, slowing down, and then you've got the through traffic at 65. So, it tried to take into account some of that and just outline for the council some of the risks, some of the pros, some of the cons.
The purpose of the new highway through Cannon Falls was to limit accidents, especially the severe ones. But putting a right in, right out off of 52 would bring that problem right back.
The #1 accident spot within town has been the intersections along Highway 52 here. So safety concerns as far as that goes, it's drastically stopped those.
It's numbers until it's your family member. So that's a consideration everybody has to really give when you look at that traffic safety issue.
MnDOT does not support a new at-grade access point at Cannon Falls. The city of Cannon Falls would be 100% responsible for project planning and cost if the decision was made to build an off-highway access point. MnDOT has installed signs before the new interchange to alert motorists of upcoming attractions. Reporting live, Jonathan Kegas, KTTC News Center.
Thank you, Jonathan. A heated crowd converged on the Dodge County Courthouse, and they are upset about some feedlot regulations.
It comes after lawsuits had actually been filed against the county regarding one particular feedlot near Blooming Prairie that stirred up the fury of one nearby farm family. NewsCenter's Taj Simmons is live in the newsroom, and he has more to the story tonight. Taj?
Well, Tom and Robin, this afternoon, the Dodge County Planning Commission looked over the county's regulations for feedlots and manure. It's the latest addition to a recent feud between a farmer, a feedlot, and Dodge County. One street is all that separates Lowell and Evelyn Traum from a feedlot home to 2,400 pigs. Even though Dodge County gave the go-ahead for the builders to build the feedlot, the Traums took action and sued the county, citing the smell and the size of the lot as reasons why it should be shut down.
The problem with the county is they continue to permit these feedlots and really give very little thought and consideration to what they're doing.
The heated issue came to a head on Wednesday when the Dodge County Planning Commission held a public meeting to revise their feedlot laws. With a slew of farmers in attendance, the commission voted to strike down a written ordinance concerning manure disposal, with the presenter of the plan saying, quote, "Words are the playground of lawyers, and every single word can be twisted." Many of the farmers agreed with the change and with the words of Planning Commission Chairman Richard Wolf.
Maybe if you would have came to us in the first place and said, I have a piece of ground, would your son be interested in farming that? Maybe we wouldn't have put the barn up.
However, the Traums are among those unhappy with the Planning Commission's actions. For them, there's only one solution to the feedlot fiasco.
It's never going to work. I don't care. Planning Commission can make up all the rules they want. It's never going to change. The only thing you can do is you can knock it back down.
But for now, the feedlot still stands. And even though the Trom's first lawsuit against the county was dismissed in November, they filed a second lawsuit last month, and that lawsuit is still pending. Live in the newsroom, Taj Simmons, KTTC News Center.
Hey, thank you so much, Taj.
I gotta say that the snow is kind of the nice powdery stuff for skiing and whatnot. It looks like it's a little windy out there, though, tonight.
It is indeed. So that's going to make for a little bit of an issue for some travelers tonight on those wide open roads. So if you get into the wide open areas, I'm sorry, and we're going to have this wind hanging in there the rest of this evening, but it will back off just a little bit overnight. More notably, we've got a clear sky right now, and that's live from our Lucena Siding and Windows Skycam in downtown Rochester on a blustery night. The wind is out of the northwest. Wind chills coming in right now in the teens below zero. They will at times tonight be as cold as around 25 to 28 degrees below zero heading into a late tonight and early tomorrow morning. These temperatures that we have right now at 0 in Owatonna, 3 in Dodge Center and Rochester, they'll make their way down to around 10 degrees below zero by tomorrow morning. We keep the clear sky overnight, and it is going to be a bitterly cold kickoff to Thursday. Our high so far today, 13 degrees. The low so far, 3 and dropping, and a trace of snow today. We did have a little bit of snow coming down earlier today. We have the final snowfall totals for the last day and a half up on our weather blog. You can check that out at kttc.com/weatherblog. But now we are actually above average for the season so far in Rochester, and we'll let you know if there is any more snow in that forecast in a few minutes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks, Randy.
Yep.
Well, parking in downtown will be scarce tonight as crews work to remove a lot of snow from the roads there. Crews will be plowing and removing snow on the downtown streets tonight, enforcing the no parking rule from midnight to 8 a.m. Vehicles in violation will be ticketed and towed away. We have a full list of the roads available on our website, kttc.com.
Well, we do have some good news to report tonight. A Mason City teenager who reported missing has now been found. 15-year-old Kaylee Schott was found by law enforcement in Minnesota this afternoon. Investigators from the Mason City Police Department are actually interviewing Schott today. She was last seen on Saturday night before she was reported missing.
A man found guilty of killing a metro area police officer will spend the rest of his life behind bars. Uniformed officers and dozens of others packed into a Dakota County courtroom this morning where Brian Fitch Sr. was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. He was found guilty Monday of fatally shooting Scott Patrick, a 47-year-old Mendota Heights officer who had stopped Fitch last July in West St. Paul. Fitch, with his hands bound, maintained his innocence before he was sentenced. Authorities say the suspect, who led law enforcement on a day-long manhunt before committing suicide in Jordan, should never have had a gun in the first place.
Officials say 41-year-old David Winters was prohibited from possessing firearms because he was a convicted felon and a gang member with a history of criminal behavior. Well, according to the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, he was found dead in the home where police believe he was hiding. It all started yesterday. Officers responded to the St. Louis Park Buy-or-Release grocery store there yesterday morning following reports that a man was there with a gun. Well, the man, believed to be Winters, was inside a car in the parking lot, and shots were fired when officers arrived. No officers were hurt. The Hennepin County Sheriff's Office says authorities will now try to determine where Winters ended up getting the gun. Well, still ahead, MnDOT is looking for people to participate in a public committee that will help plan a potential zip rail connecting Rochester to the Twin Cities.
Also, a few Austin residents in an assisted living facility take part in a kind of revealing contest today. We'll tell you what they're doing.
You're watching the KTTC News Center with Tom Overley, Robin Wolfram, Chief Meteorologist Randy Brock, and sports with Pat Lund. This is KTTC News Center at 6.
MnDOT is looking for people to join a committee to provide some feedback on the planned zip rail between Rochester and the Twin Cities.
The Zip Rail Corridor Community Advisory Committee will be made up of 25 members from the communities the high-speed rail would impact. MnDOT says the committee won't have any direct decision-making authority. However, it will offer community insight for both MnDOT and the Zip Rail Technical Advisory Committee. The deadline to sign up for this committee, or at least apply for it, we should say, is February 27th. Well, are you insured? MnSure is reminding Minnesotans what tax penalties there are for those who choose not to be covered by some form of health insurance. Well, if you don't have coverage this year, you will be paying the greater of two different penalties, and here they are. One penalty would have you paying 2% of your household income. Well, the other penalty is $325 per adult and $162.50 per child. The maximum total for the penalty caps off at $975. Open enrollment for coverage ends February 15th, about 1.5 weeks away.
An assisted living facility in Austin has residents decorating their undergarments for a very good cause. St. Mark's Living hosted its second annual Bras for a Cause event today, which coincides with Austin's Paint the Town Pink initiative. So folks at the facility, as well as family members and workers, decorated paper bras, not the real ones, to be displayed. I was a little worried there.
Perky, those bras.
To be displayed at Saturday's Austin Bruins Paint the Pink, a rink pink game. The bras are judged by Austin Bruins players, but it's not about who wins. It's all about what they are giving to help knock out this terrible disease.
The breast cancer is out there and everyone's affected by it, and we just need to get the studies out there so someday it can be eliminated.
This year's Bras for a Cause, which also ties in with a raffle and bake sale, raised about $1,200 to be given to the Hormel Institute. Again, money for a very good cause.
Yeah, well,
it's a creative way to raise money, huh?
It just delights me in so many ways, that story.
Good, it's a great idea.
It was great.
Still at tonight, it's college football signing day. So where are our area's top players headed? Pat Lund will tell us later in sports.
Plus, oftentimes it's a thankless job, but today is a day to highlight your mail carrier and show just how much you care. We have more on that coming up after sports.
And hopefully you had a chance to soak in the sunshine today. It was beautifully bright, maybe with a couple of extra layers on. We've got more on a little warm-up in your forecast and maybe a touch of snow. So up next. Break from the dramatic weather. We got that snow so quickly yesterday, but today we got to enjoy some sunshine and that sun taking care of the roads for us fairly quickly today. Snow falling in New England again, stretching down the Ohio River, now down into parts of Missouri, Kansas, and now eventually Oklahoma, even back all the way to Montana. Well, we've got that drier Canadian air in place here across the upper Midwest. Another wave into the Pacific Northwest. Things are really active across the country right now, but we are in a touch of a lull, and that is going to continue into tomorrow. But in case you missed it, today's sunset was a lovely one with no drama. We had a couple of very thin clouds maybe skirting through the western horizon there briefly as the sun was setting. But today we got exactly 10 hours of sunlight in Rochester. We've gained an hour and 6 minutes since December 20th. So the days stretching out nicely here for us going through February, only getting longer heading into the middle of June. We have that clear sky here for the rest of tonight. So of course it's going to be a bit cold, and this wind of 15 to 20 miles per hour is bringing those wind chills back down into the teens below zero, but actual temperatures so far are holding above zero. Now, by the time we get to the 10 o'clock newscast, we should be below zero in quite a bit of southern Minnesota, northern Iowa, and we're already well below zero in west central Minnesota. A quiet and cold night. This is live from our Lacina siding and Windows Skycam in downtown Rochester. We'll keep the clear sky for the rest of this evening. Wind chills running in the mid-teens below zero now. They will be as cold as about 25 to 28 degrees below zero by tonight and tomorrow morning. That wind fairly persistent now. Major wicked winter storms for us yet, but enough to foul things up once in a while.
I have to say, for a lot of folks, again, you know, snowmobilers and skiers and whatnot, folks who really like the snow, this is a nice snow that we got. And so, and the dogs love it. Your dogs love it. My dogs love it.
But a great powder on the slopes for this one, so enjoy it.
Yes, exactly. That sounds great. Thanks, Randy. Well, Pat Lund is coming up next with tonight's sports.
It is National Signing Day for high school football players. Pat will give us the latest on local athletes when we come back.
It was National Signing Day for high school seniors headed to the next level in football. A couple of big names from the area are headed to Winona State. We told you about Grand Meadows' Landon Jacobson on Monday. Blooming Prairie quarterback John Rumsa, there he is, will also play for the Warriors. And head coach Tom Sawyer, the 6'7" Rumsa, had a stellar prep career with the Awesome Blossoms. He was the center of our highlights many times on Sports Extra over his 3 years as starter for head coach Chad Gimble. This past season was his best passing. Section girls hockey playoffs begin tonight. Highlights plus RCTC basketball. That's all coming up tonight at 10.
Your time and talents are needed at dozens of local nonprofits.
As part of Winterfest, the Rochester area volunteer administrators help residents find ways to give back to their community. This is the second year now the community-wide volunteer fair is being held. 40 Rochester organizations were available this afternoon for folks to come talk to staff and other volunteers to learn more about how to volunteer. Organizers say it's a great opportunity for people to give their time and talents to benefit the community.
You don't need to have any certain special skills or anything like that. It's just for any individual that really wants to give back to their community and are looking for an opportunity and just trying to check out some places where they might have an interest.
Groups like Channel One, Food Bank, Hospice Care, Habitat for Humanity are all looking for volunteers. Again, in this community.
And it's a great lesson for your kids, and it's always so rewarding, I think.
I think you find a lot of joy when you give.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, through rain, sleet, and snow every day, in every kind of bizarre weather, especially that we have here in Minnesota, they deliver the mail.
And now someone apparently decided that today is the day to show your gratitude to those providing us with our birthday cards, the letters, and of course, my favorite part,
the bills.
The bills. That's right. It is National Thank a Mailman Day. Day in and day out, our postal carriers brave the cold Minnesota winters, of course, during the winter months, and then the heat in the summer. And most of them make their rounds with a smile, like Dale Meyer and Albert Lee.
I like being out, doing the job, and meeting people and delivering the mail.
Wonder how much he likes barking dogs. Probably not so much. We want to thank you, all the mail carriers, for all that you do. And if you missed the chance to say thanks today, good chance they're going to really appreciate it as well tomorrow.
We want to hear from you tonight. Have you ever met your postal carrier? Let us know in our web poll questions, kttc.com. We have results for you on the NewsCenter at 10 o'clock. They need to have a Thank the Anchorman Day.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Robin.
Okay. You're welcome.
The day has now come to an end.
That's it.
Stay with us. The NewsCenter at 6. We'll be right back.
And as we had to break, a look at some of the top stories that you are reading on our website. You can find them at kttc.com.
Tonight on KTTC, catch a brand new episode of The Mysteries of Laura at 7, followed by Law and Order SVU at 8.
And then at 9 o'clock, you really want to try to catch this. It is the conclusion of the two-night crossover event of Chicago Fire and Chicago PD. Tonight, the two forces joined together to apprehend the arsonist who's suspected of killing Shay. We will be back after that for the NewsCenter at 10. Well, not all stories have a clear beginning or an ending, and sometimes the best stories are only a few lines long.
Yeah, those are the kind of stories one man in Decorah has been telling for more than 20 years now. Brian Andreas calls them story people, and the colorful art with heartstring messages have put him in the international spotlight, featured in galleries around the world. Tonight at 10, we're going to hear how it all started and why saying yes to a simple dream can end up taking you on an adventure of a lifetime.
That had to be so fascinating.
It really was fun. I've been seeing his artwork all over the place, even over in Europe about a month ago, and I thought, I got to meet this guy. He started in Decorah, and so we'll have the story for you tonight.
Can't wait to hear about it.
I had no idea. We've got a couple up in our house, too. So
you do?
It's
yeah.
local.
You're going to see the guy who started. Yeah,
that's amazing.
How it all started. He said yes to a dream, and look what happened.
Yeah, that is, you're going to see it if you're not out shoveling your driveway tonight.
Yeah. And you should have taken care of that yesterday, Robin.
Yeah.
Have you got it done yet?
No, my driveway's still loaded.
Oh,
got to talk to my landlord about that.
Stays quiet, more sunshine tomorrow. That'll help, too.
We like that.
I'll come over and shovel for you.
Thank you,
because I'm that kind of guy.
He is.
Maybe not. We'll see you tonight at 10.
Good night.